love is such a beautiful thing, right? And I just thought I'll pull out the camera now. You see me dressed a little bit different. I just came back from a wedding. It was actually a good friend of mine, and he just tied the knot. So he met this girl, and he's known her for a couple of years, right? And he's now finally decided to tie the knot. He's the same age as me, so he's in his mid-30s. And just, yeah, man, just, it's such a beautiful feeling seeing, you know, two people tie the knot, get together, and pursue their love, right? Pursue happiness. And things like this, right? Days like this, moments like this, it really makes me so happy to see, you know, two people come together and make things work, right? And I know a lot of marriages can tend to fail, especially in the West. But this sort of wedding is a bit of a different one, right? It's a cultural wedding. And just seeing the look on my friend's face, him, you know, getting married, also seeing the bride, how happy she was, it just raises so much positivity, right, for the day. And I'm all about, you know, traditional values when it comes to, you know, marriage, relationships. And my opinions on marriage is you still can get married in today's day and age, right? The reason why a lot of marriages fail is that the two people that get together are not compatible for one another, right? They're not right for one another. And it's okay, right? Not everyone we get in a relationship with is the right person for us. But at the end of the day, me personally, I believe in traditional values. I believe in relationships where couples work things through together till the end, right? They don't give up. They don't just give in when things get hard. So for all the fellas out there that are wanting to embrace the traditional values in a relationship, then understand that you still can exercise the traditional values, right, in this modern day society, in these modern day times. Now, our relationship's going to last forever. That we don't know, right, at the end of the day. But what we can do is cherish the moments we have. Cherish love, because love is a very strong emotion, right? And the opposite of love is living a life filled with fear. So at the end of the day, you want to be someone who experiences love with the right person. And when you do, you just have this bond, right, that can't be broken. And a lot of people will say, you know, marriage is dead, don't get married, you know, who wants to get married anymore? And I disagree with that, right? Because at the end of the day, there are still traditional values that can be upheld. There still are couples in today's society, right? Today's day and age, who still believe in the traditional values, right? Still have cultural beliefs. And that's what I'm saying. You need to have that right person who you can bring into your life, someone who has traditional values, someone who has those belief systems where they're not going to give up when things get hard, right? Because at the end of the day, it's very easy for someone to give up, right, in a relationship. It's very easy for someone to just pull the plug and just call it quits. But what happens is when you're in that position and you just give up, right, you're going to end up just getting yourself in another relationship or being lonely, being single. And if that's your forte, then that's fine. But at the end of the day, if you want to embrace the traditional values, you got to meet the right person who has those traditional beliefs, who has those beliefs that marriage is not dead, that you fight together till the end, right? Problems are always going to arise in relationships. Nothing's ever perfect, right? Me, myself, even in my own relationship, it's never always perfect, right? Things can sometimes take a bit of a turn. There's always, you know, certain disagreements. But at the end of the day, the person that you're with, right? And I'm speaking from a point of view as a man. When you date a woman, you need to make sure that she is someone who believes in all these things, right? Who believes in marriage, who believes, and if marriage is not your thing, that's fair enough, right? But at the end of the day, just not giving up, just always consistently believing that there's always going to be problems, right? So you need to make sure as a man that you pair up with the right person, someone who doesn't have any past trauma, someone who has, deep respect for their family, for their parents. If the parents are separated, at least have some sort of bond, with her father, right? Because this is very important. You need to make sure you vet the women correctly if you're planning on something long term, right? Because at the end of the day, the opposite of love, as I mentioned earlier, is fear. And no one wants to live in a life filled with, no one wants to live in existence where they're scared to fall in love, right? At the end of the day, is love guaranteed? No, nothing's ever guaranteed. You're not even guaranteed to live a certain amount of years, right? We don't know. I could potentially pass away in the next 2 years. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm going to cherish what I have. I'm going to be grateful for what I have. I thank the Lord every day for allowing me to be alive, being healthy, being here, being able to meet a woman who complements my life, who believes in the same things that I believe in, who has a moral compass, who has values that she upholds. And I just roll with that. What else can I do? I just roll with that. I don't live in scarcity. I don't live in fear. Because if I did live in fear, then what would happen is I would potentially think that maybe this won't work out. Maybe this won't work out. And if you keep reaffirming that, that will be your internal state, right? That will be your mindset. A mindset filled with fear and scarcity. And I used to operate that way, right? I used to have that sort of mindset until I completely recreated myself, rebuilt myself, changed my mindset into love and abundance. And that's when I was able to receive. That's when good things came my way. And as much as I know nothing's guaranteed in life, at the end of the day, I will cherish the moments. I will uphold my values as a man. I'll make sure I have these positive beliefs. And I'll just keep striving for more. Be aligned with my purpose. Keep striving for more. And just be that role model in my partner's life. And that's all you can do, right? That's all we have. Life is limited. Life is too short. A lot of people are playing the wrong game in life, right? They think they have forever. And being a man in his 30s, I'm telling you, someone who pleasure chased for 10 to 15 years of his life is even in a position now where he's like, you know what? I want to embrace the relationship that I have. I want to embrace the friendships that I have. I want to embrace my love with my family. I want to embrace my love with those that need me. So don't be scared to take the risk, right? Just because most of society or majority of society are making the wrong decisions. They're not going all in, right? When it comes to themselves, when it comes to their development, right? Their personal development. And then they rely on someone else, right? To fill that empty void. And that's what I did for so long. And I was trapped. I was living in scarcity because I got complacent. But when I actually put myself first, which might sound selfish, when I changed my mindset from that fear and scarcity mindset to love and abundance, that's when I was able to truly enjoy a relationship with someone. I knew what I wanted at this point, right? When I took things to the next level with my partner. I didn't just get in just a relationship, right? I did that for a majority of my life. And even though I was in long-term relationships, and the women weren't bad at all, but I just wasn't ready to take it to the next step, right? Because I didn't work on myself. I didn't have that purpose. I didn't have that drive, that direction. I wasn't striving for more. So I made the person my sole focus, and all those relationships crumbled. But that mindset, that fear and scarcity mindset, that's what I had in every relationship, right? I had my insecurities that I didn't face. I had certain trauma that I grew up with that I didn't heal. And when I cleansed myself from all my past pain, past problems, lack of direction, lack of purpose, and just went all in, enjoyed the process, focused on myself, that's when I was given by the man above the right person at the right time. So just understand that even though if you're watching this right now and you're lonely and you're in a position where you're like, you know what, relationships just don't exist, marriages don't work anymore, the divorce rate is this. If you keep believing that, if you keep feeding your internal system those sort of things, right, those negative feelings, those negative emotions, those negative self-talk, then what's going to happen is you're only going to attract more and more of that, right? You're only going to attract more of it. So you must learn to change your internal system, right? Change that internal state to therefore shift it from fear and scarcity to love and abundance, because that's all we have. It's either you're living in fear in this life or you're living in love and abundance, right? There's only two ways of living. The opposite of love is fear. And love is a beautiful thing when you have it with the right person, but you have to love yourself first, right? Once you love yourself, once you're able to look after yourself as a man, that's when you can truly love someone else. That's when you can truly make someone else feel loved. Because you love yourself, you've got that inner self-love, you're operating from that high frequency. And that's what you only radiate to those closest around you, right? Your girl, your friends, your kids, all that, they all get the best version of you, right? So at the end of the day, don't give up on love. Don't give up on long-term relationships. That's just your weak mindset. That's your fear mindset trying to keep you safe and comfortable. You trying to affirm to yourself that you don't have hope, you don't have a chance when you do, right? That was my internal dialogue about 2.5 years ago when I was going through a breakup, being in a relationship for 7 years. That was my internal dialogue where I just kept feeding myself negative stuff, right? I was in my 30s. I had to start again. I had to meet someone else. I understand what it feels like, right? For any man that's in his 30s trying to, find love, trying to recreate himself, rebuild himself. He's at a low point. I get it. It's not easy, right? But at the end of the day, I was responsible for the position that I was in at that point in my life, right? No one was to blame. I was to blame. I let myself go. I neglected my personal development. I chose to throw things under the rug and not face them head on. And as a byproduct, I just kept getting more and more negative things back into my life. I just kept attracting more and more negative things, right? And for example, what I would say to myself, right, and this was quite bad, I'd say, I won't be able to meet anyone anymore because I was like 34 at the time. Why me, God? I wish she came back, right? This is after a girl that wasn't right for me, right? We weren't compatible. But I was trying so desperately to cling on to that. And I had that negative mindset. I had that fear mindset at the same time. So guess what? I just kept experiencing more and more negative emotions in my life. And everything would just crumble around me, right? Everything would literally fall apart. But until I decided to go all in, right? Face the adversity, face the demons that I was hiding from. Consistently chasing pleasure, trying to take the easy way out, avoiding any sort of adversity in my life. That's what I was doing for a long time, right? And I thought in my mind that I was literally going to be like this for the rest of my life. So I envisioned me being lonely, me being single, me not doing something that feels purposeful, something from the heart. And I was really in a bad place, man. I experienced depression, anxiety, right? But that's temporary emotions. And what scared me was just looking at the next 10, 20 years, being in the same position that I'm at that time when I was at a low point. So the only option for me at that time, right, and the only option for you, if you're at that very low point as well, is you can keep attracting more and more of that, right? You can keep that internal dialogue negative. Or you can go all in on recreating yourself, rebuilding yourself as a man. And at the end of the day, when you go the second option, when you focus on going all in, right? I had this mentality where I've got nothing to lose. I might as well just go all in to redeveloping myself, rebuilding myself, not avoiding me going the direction that I wanted to go in life, right? Not avoiding the pain that came my way. I went head on and I faced it head on. Was it easy? It wasn't easy, but at the end of the day, what hurts more is being trapped in that mindset, trapped in that fear mentality, trapped being lonely, trapped having no self-love, no self-esteem. That hurts. That really hurts, right? And that's when that compromises your mental health, which not a lot of people talk about. But trust me, when you get to your 30s and you're at that low point, it hits you a lot more harder. So I went all in. You need to go all in, right? There's no option. There's no other option. Do you want to live a life filled with fear, or do you want to experience a life filled with love, where you get to meet someone else, where you get to cherish love, where you get to enjoy that emotion, right? Obviously, it starts with yourself first, loving yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, in all areas. And then the byproduct is you loving someone else. And they will feel loved, they will feel worthy, right? So just understand that at the end of the day, it starts with your ability to love yourself. Once you love yourself and you're focused on being the best version of yourself by showing up each and every day, right? By being consistent, you'll then start to attract the right person into your life. And you then also can experience traditional values in a relationship. Having children, leaving your legacy behind. This is what we're biologically hardwired to do. We're not biologically hardwired as men to sit there, lonely, depressed. This is just new age problems that men are faced with, right? Anxiety, depression. I get it, they're there, but they're temporary. And the more you keep feeding it with that negative mindset, that fear mentality, the more you're going to just keep attracting that back in your life. So if you want to experience love, which I highly recommend you do, otherwise you're going to be in fear, not only when it comes to relationships, but your own life, society, right? You're going to start believing that all the things that you hear on the news, like all these things, right? It's there to keep you trapped in fear. So I never watch the news or anything like that. So focus on building yourself, focus on the self-love. Then when you do meet a partner, you can start to leave your legacy behind. You can cherish love. Love's not guaranteed, but at the end of the day, you want to experience love, man. It's a beautiful emotion when it's with the right person. And then you just, after you meet the right person, that's when you have your kids, right? Your children. You get to be a good role model in their lives. You teach them love. You teach them to operate through love, not fear. And you end up just being that right role model, right? So for anyone watching this, I know this is a little bit of a rant, but I just felt like I wanted to say this. I wanted to talk about the traditional, values, marriage, kids. I believe in all that. I love all that, right? I love all those things. I've always been a big believer in that. And I've always been a big believer in when you meet the right person, you'll make it work. For those that have gone through breakups like myself, why things didn't work out was because you just weren't right for one another. And it's okay, but you will meet that right person. But as long as you start loving yourself, shifting that mentality from fear to love, that's when you'll attract the right person in your life. And not only attract, but you can maintain the relationship. You can maintain her love, her desire towards you. Why? Because you love yourself. You've got purpose. You're striving for more. So don't give up. Don't let society program you to believe that relationships are dead, marriage is dead, kids are dead, all these things, right? Don't believe any of that. That's just bullshit. Whatever you feed your mind, whatever you think is true, is what your mind's going to start, or your subconscious mind is going to start believing, right? So at the end of the day, program your mind to believe in positive things. Marriage still exists. Even though I'm not married, I haven't met the right person, but she is out there. I want to leave a legacy behind. I'm going to have children. Even though I don't have children right now, when I meet that right person, I will have children. I'll be a good father. I'm going to be the right role model. I'm going to make sure that they don't have the same upbringing as me. Right? All these things you can do, man. But it just starts with your internal state. Right? So don't give up. Don't believe in what people say, negative things. It doesn't exist. Whatever you truly believe internally is what you believe, and that's what you're going to attract back. That's all I can say. That's the best advice I can give you from a man who was literally in your position, started to believe what society used to say, started to believe, what people said, started to listen to his friends saying, oh, marriages, they end up just getting really difficult over time. And then you look at the person, he's out of shape, he's let himself go. So at the end of the day, I don't believe what people say when it comes to negativity. It's only positivity. And when you believe in positivity, good things will happen, good things come. But it all starts with you. It starts with your belief system. And just know that At the end of the day, it's either you're living a life filled with love or a life filled with fear. And just know that love, yeah, it's not guaranteed, but you can cherish it. But fear, that's going to keep you very much trapped for the rest of your life. And be prepared for your mental health to be completely compromised, right? And I'm only speaking by experience because I lived that way for more than 10 years. So look, man, ending this video here, I hope you could relate with me to some degree. You know, this wasn't really a prepared video, but I just pulled out the camera. Just sitting in the car park now after the wedding. Sorry, it's getting quite warm. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pull out the camera. I just feel like getting this off my chest because we live in such a negative society that I like to speak positivity, right? And I don't want to speak things that are not true, but I'm only speaking what's worked for me, what's worked for certain other individuals, right? So it all starts up here, right? And that internal state, what you feed yourself, be very careful with what you believe, right? And what your thoughts are. But look, ending it here, I hope you have a blessed and beautiful day. Cherish those closest around you, right? Tell people, reach out to your family. If you don't speak to them often, tell them that you love them, right? It's not that hard. And just spread love, spread positivity. That's all you need to do, right? So look, ending it here. If you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like my video, give it a like. But other than that, ending the video here. I'll see you in the next one. Have a blessed and beautiful day, and peace out.